Hey, folks, it's the last time in 2021 we're talking about the draft. Saunders, Nick Farabaugh, SteelersNow.com, and Pittsburgh Sports Live. We're talking about the final three picks of the Steelers 2021 NFL draft. They had 6 selections on Saturday, supposed to be only 5, but they made a trade up into the 5th round. And if you check out the previous video here on the channel, Nick and I broke down their 4th and 5th round pick. And now we're going to talk about their 6th and 7th round picks. And it's an interesting haul. I think it's honestly one that I'm very, very interested about. I don't know, just as a writer, it's got me. So we've got Quincy Roche, an outside linebacker from Miami. We've got, he's a guy that could step right in and be a regular player this year. Tre Norwood, a defensive back, played a little safety, played a little corner at Oklahoma. And then maybe my favorite player in the entire draft. We actually had conversation as whether or not we needed to do an episode on punters of Draft Talk as we were talking every weekday in the month of April. It was deep conversation about whether we needed to have a punters episode. We didn't. And then they drafted a punter, and it's my favorite punter, Pressley Harvin III from Georgia Tech, who is just jacked and enormous. He's like 263 pounds. He plays the saxophone. He's hilarious. He's a really good passer. They run a bunch of fakes with him, and he's the best punter in the league. First black man to win the Ray Guy Award. I'm super, super fired up about that one. But let's start with the guy I think obviously taken first and also probably most impactful is Quincy Roche, who kind of got lost in the mix as an outside linebacker, edge rusher type in Miami when they had those talented players around him, but after coming to the Hurricanes from a grad transfer from Temple, not a super, didn't jump off the stat sheet, and he's not a crazy good athlete, but he is a really productive player at Temple and still find a way to do some good things in Miami. I think this is going to be a pretty good fit for the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to remember the last time I think I could tell you a 6th round pick would come for the Pittsburgh Steelers and probably play significant snaps on defense. I don't see any way this guy doesn't become the outside linebacker 3 behind Watt and Highsmith. And it makes me feel a lot better about edge depth as well. Roche, as you said, not a terrific athlete, but he's pretty flexible. He's decently bendy. He's got a little twitch in that first step. It's not like he's, devoid of explosiveness. It's just an average first step. But he has pretty long strides to where he can get up on tackles, really bend around that edge, reduce that surface area, high football IQ. He plays with his hair on fire. He runs all over the freaking field. I love that about him. He'll be a very quality special teamer right away. He'll be a quality rotational pass rusher. I mean, listen, I think Roche should have been gone potentially the day before. I mean, he could have been a 3rd round pick and I wouldn't bet an eye on it.
Yeah, that was part of the thing. We saw those inside linebackers falling in day 2, and the Steelers kind of cashed in on that trend way later.
Yeah, they cashed in on that. And I mean, listen, Roche is going to be a really, really solid football player here. He should have never fallen to the end of the 6th round. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's a steal for Quincy Roche. And they even said as much. They had a late 3rd on him. Makes complete sense. I think I had a 4th on Roche. So, really, really solid pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Probably when you take value in with need and everything, I think it's probably the best pick of the whole draft for them, honestly.
I think it's the best value pick for them in the entire draft. I mean, he's not going to be the best player. I mean, let's be real. But I think it's the best value pick. I think it was the place where they outperformed their draft slot the most. And I think it was at a position of desperate need, too. Like, they had nobody behind TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith at outside linebacker. And now I feel really good about it. I mean, listen, they still need probably one more. Maybe they'll go that way with an undrafted free agent and, whatever. But, this is the guy that when TJ Watt needs 5 plays and when Alex Highsmith needs 5 plays and if somebody gets hurt, it's going to be Quincy Roche, and he's a really experienced guy. He was a 3 or 4 year starter. He played in a couple different defensive schemes, he went through a coaching change while he was at Temple, and then he went to Miami. So he's played in 3 defenses at college. So he should be able to pick up. The Steelers team is pretty different than what Miami runs, but I would think he should be able to pick it up pretty quickly at this point and be the day one outside linebacker 3 and a really good special teamer. The thing I noticed about him, he had a great play against Pitt this year to recover a fumble. I went back and looked. He's got like 3+ fumble recoveries and forced fumbles in every season he's played. He's always around the football. And so, that's something that makes a guy who's maybe just an average athlete and maybe just a little above average productivity into a really good player. I think, a different kind of player, but I feel a little bit like a Vince Williams vibe about this pick. Is like Vince Williams came in and played as a rookie 6th round pick, and he was okay. I mean, like, he probably shouldn't have been starting, but he came in day one. He was a good special teamer, and he had a lot of positive attributes about his game that let him be a solid performer right away. And then he turned into a good pro in the long run.
I think Roche can turn into that good pro. I mean, and look, they're going to have this 3 core together for a while now. I mean, Watt's obviously going to get his extension. He should be around for the long haul. Alex Highsmith's only entering the 2nd year of his contract, and Roche is going to enter the 1st year of a rookie deal. This is going to be 3 solid guys that are probably going to grow together, and honestly, going to be a really good 1-2-3 punch for probably the next 3 to 4 years. I mean, that's anytime you can shore up the edge position like that, that's huge, especially when the Steelers are going to be going into a semi-retooling. You don't really have to worry about edge now, and that's a huge, huge boon. If you have 3 really good young pass rushers, huge. I mean, that's huge for the Steelers' prospects in the future. The defense, I mean, you look at just what the defense has right now between the young guys, Minka, between Edmonds, hopefully as he continues to grow, Bush, and then now these 3 edge rushers. I mean, the young players that are going to take the Steelers into the next post-Ben Roethlisberger era, the defense looks pretty solid so far. They'll need corners, but so far, I mean, I think it looks solid.
Well, let's stay with the defense and go to that secondary. Trey is the pick in the first pick of the 7th round. Tre Norwood from Oklahoma, 6-footer. Had a bad injury in 2019, missed the whole year. Kind of didn't get off to a great start in 2020, but finished strong. He ended up starting only 5 games, 5 of the last 6, and leading the Big 12 in interceptions. And so another guy that can find the football, and I think his versatility. I mean, this to me feels like Sean Davis replacement. Does that seem fair to you?
Sean Davis and Cam Sutton replacement, and by Cam Sutton replacement, I mean obviously in his previous role, because this is a guy
that is a free safety / slot corner, dime corner.
Yep, that's exactly what he can do. And Norwood's also, I don't think he'll play outside, but he has experience playing in that slot too. But Norwood, a slot corner, free safety, kind of a dime backer as well, played dime backer as well. It wouldn't surprise me if he's the dime backer. I mean, it would not be a complete surprise. Obviously, we might talk about it a little bit later after the 3rd pick, but the Steelers have really attacked the UDFA market here on the cornerbacks. Mark Gilbert, Shakur Brown, those are 2 really good guys. So Norwood's no guarantee to make the roster. These are really good. They signed 3. I think between Norwood, Brown, and Gilbert, I think they're going to get a quality option here. I really do. I actually feel better about cornerback. I know these are 3 guys that are late, but I feel good about it. But just Norwood, versatile. Norwood can stick. Norwood doesn't even have to stick as the slot option. Norwood can just stick as the backup free safety and be a good safety depth. So I think Norwood has a good chance to make the roster as long as he's a good special teamer. I think he makes it. One thing he does need to clean up: inconsistent tackling. He's very willing, very physical, but he kind of wrestles with them more than just wraps them up. But certainly, I think that'll be taught to him, and hopefully he can improve over the summer and make this team. Because I like Tre Norwood. He's one of the type. He's the type of guy you want. Hard worker, great character, does everything for his team. Really versatile. Perfect fit here, I think, for the Steelers.
And then in the 7th round, The punter, Pressley Harvin III. I mean, look, the Steelers have 2 punters already in Jordan Berry, and they kept Corliss Waitman on the practice squad all year and signed him to a future contract. But Pressley Harvin, I mean, look, he's kind of it's, I don't want to listen. There's things about him that are fun, right? He's a big dude. Okay. He's a funny guy. If you follow him on social media, he plays the saxophone. Let's be honest, he's a black punter, which you just don't see very often. So there's this sort of like sideshowy bit about like, oh, how cool is this? He is an awesome punter. He has a huge leg, averaged over 48 yards a punt last year. This is a huge upgrade, right?
Yeah, he should be the de facto punter. I don't see how he's not the punter for the season and relatively we would think future seasons. I mean, listen, the story about Pressley Harvin is apparently there was bad weather at his pro day. Danny Smith was there and Harvin still kicked the absolute snot out of the ball. And apparently he was really good in that area. And apparently that sold them on him. I mean, Pressley Harvin, if you saw the video on the Steelers website, not the Steelers website, Steelers Twitter, he couldn't stop smiling after being drafted. The only punter drafted. He's the only punter drafted. I think he deserved it. I thought he was the best punter in the draft coming into this. I don't scout punters a ton, but I've seen enough Drew Christmas. I've seen enough of Max Duffy. I've perused them because of this possibility. And I've obviously seen Pressley Harvin because Pitt plays Georgia Tech. And every time that they play them, this dude just mashes absolute meteors into the sky. I mean,
I'm like, what is this guy gonna do when he gets into an NFL locker room and starts like a more significant? Not that like what do you do in college football isn't significant, but I mean that guy is capable of doing a lot more when you put him on a year-round training regimen and have him focus on nothing but football. Like he could be the best punter in the league, I think.
He could be a really good punter. I'm excited about this pick. Again, not too much I could say about punter. He's got the hang time, the distance, all of that. He's also a pretty good tackler for what it's worth. He has a big arm.
He better be at 260.
Yeah.
Can he cover kickoffs too? Is there like another role that we
I don't know. You think they're going to take that away from Boz? I don't know if they will, but
I mean just put him on the coverage team. Like let him go break up the wedge, right? I mean
could he be the fullback?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. He's an athlete. He seems relatively athletic. I mean, when I've seen them run fakes with him, he moves okay. We'll see. He's a weapon. I think that's what you call him. He's a weapon. I think if you put him with Danny Smith, I know people are kind of up and down about Danny Smith, but one thing you can't say about he is super creative. He comes up with different ways to do things all the time. And I think when you give him that kind of a weapon, I'm really excited to see what he's going to come up with.
Yeah, I'm excited to see kind of what Danny Smith does. And honestly, this is just it's really fun to see. I can't remember the last time the Steelers had a guy like this on special teams. I mean, Pressley Harvin.
Fourth down is no longer the time to run to the bathroom. You got to wait until after the punt now to get a break because
there might be like Harvin III jerseys. I'm not even kidding.
I've already been seeing people on Twitter been like, at Steelers, let me buy a jersey. And he wore 27 at Georgia Tech. Can he wear that now? No, they did not open up the 20s to kickers. So unfortunately won't, but they should just list him as like a linebacker so he can wear 27 just because.
Honestly, that'd be amazing if they could do that.
I mean, obviously Marcus Allen has 27, but he deserves a number beyond a punter number. Speaking of numbers, I asked Buddy Johnson if he's going to try to keep number 1, and he said he doesn't care what number he gets as long as he gets one. So, but he can now. That is a thing.
Absolutely. That'd be fun if he ended up getting that.
Well, that's it for the draft. Thanks, Nick, so much for coming on with me. We talked almost every day this month about the draft, and we got most of it wrong. But I think we got a good bit of it right. And I don't know that our projections were stellar, but I think we gave our listeners and viewers a lot of good information about the prospects. And I can't wait to do it again next year. We'll get started by covering some college football together this fall, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely.
All right, man.
Season is over.
It's over. So for Nick Farabaugh, I'm Alan Saunders. Thanks for watching this and all of our Draft Talk episodes here on the Pittsburgh Sports Live channel. Make sure you go to Pittsburgh Sports Now, Pittsburgh Steelers Now, Nittany Sports Now. We are full of draft coverage everywhere. We got the Pitt kids, the Whippeal kids, the Penn State kids, West Virginia Sports Now. I saw Darius Stills just signed with Las Vegas. They're full. The news is everywhere. Go check it out. And then here on the YouTube channel, click subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you know when our next show goes live and you won't miss a thing. For Nick Farabaugh and for everyone at Pittsburgh Sports Live, I'm Alan Saunders. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.